Hi and welcome back to my workshop. This is my second video about Fibre Laser made by Monport. I'll put a link to the first one down below. And in that first video I basically experimented with it and found out how and how not to set it to get the best results from various materials. In this video I'm going to share with you how I've decided to use it to complement my woodworking business and exactly how I went about making each of the various products that I plan to use it for. I mentioned in my first video that I'm not looking to start a separate business for laser engraving. I want to find products that will complement what I already do, or maybe the odd one or two products. So the first thing I'm going to approach is when we go and do a craft fair, and I use craft fairs to help promote the business, spread the word, get the name out there. The more variety I can have on the table when people walk past, the more sparkly things, the more colours, the more chance there is of something catching somebody's eye, drawing them in, and then hopefully they'll get drawn towards the cutting boards, chopping boards, serving boards, the bread bins, boxes and so on that I make, and the stuff that I really want to sell. So bearing that in mind, the first thing I'm going to do is a different product that will sit on the table as a draw me in really, and I want to make some slate coasters. Now I've made slate coasters in the past using the LED lasers that I've already got, and they do a great job. The output is fantastic, but they take a minute or two. And what I've realized with this fibre laser is it's insanely fast. So I'm going to try to make a batch of coasters up on the fibre laser and take advantage of its increased speed. So what I want to do first is show you exactly how I go about doing that and how I can use one coaster to prove all the settings and then get to batching them out quick. Let's jump in. So the first thing I want to do is find an image. And I like to use LaserPix, laser-pix.com, superb resource. Check it out, hundreds of free and even more if you sign up and pay their very small charge. So I'm searching for animals and I'd really like to find something that's a little bit cutesy and a little bit humorous. Penguin's good, I like that. Little duckling's good. What else we got? Oh, there's the man, the gerbil. The chubby gerbil, or is it a hamster? One of the two. So when you click on the image that you'd like, there are two versions that you can download, the original and a pre-prepared version. I would recommend you download the original so that you've always got it, and then you get to alter it to suit your laser. So download that and import it into Lightburn. So the first thing that I like to do is resize it, and on a slate, the slates I've got are 90 by 90 printable area. So I'm going to reset this to 45, and then I'm going to draw myself a box, and I'm going to make the box 90 by 90. And I'm going to center it on the page, and I'm going to pop it in a tool layer, and then I'm going to take my wee gerbil and pop him in the bottom left hand corner. So I've only got the one image on the screen at the moment, and it's a quarter of the size of the slate. So I've got my speed, power and frequency all set as per the outcome of the testing from the first video. And I've also got dot width adjustment enabled and preset and DPI preset. So I won't bother with those. I'm not going to do any adjusting on this version. I'm going to leave it exactly as it is. And we're going to run this and see exactly what happens. So I'll frame it up and I'll hit the start button. And that's really not bad at all. That's pretty darn good for a first run, but we can definitely improve on that. So what I'm going to do is copy the chunky little chappy and pop them over here. And I'm going to put them on a new layer. And I'm going to make sure I've got all the layer settings the same. So I'll copy from the first layer and I'll paste on to the second layer. And just to make it clearer, we'll call that first run, and we'll call this second run. Now I'm going to go into the adjust image setting and take a look at this. We're going to alter the gamma a little bit. And the brightness and the contrast. See if we can make an improvement. And with these settings, you just need to play around with them a bit until you get the level of detail come through that you want to achieve. Let's try that. And I'll make sure I turn off the first run layer. Make sure it frames okay. And that is so much better. Far greater clarity. Let's try one more, and again we'll put him on his own layer. And we'll make sure we copy just to be safe. Back into adjust image. There, I don't think I want to do a lot more than that. So let's turn off the second one. And that is indeed better again. Really happy with that. You can see the definition has come out so much better. We can see the progression as well. So the last thing to do is blow him up to full size. So again, I'm going to copy him and paste him, give him his own layer. Copy that one, paste it there. And then we're going to rescale him to 90. Center him back on the page and set him going. We may need the odd little tweak when we blow him up from quarter size to full size, but essentially we should be there. I think he's come out absolutely superb. Almost looks like a photograph that you've printed and stuck on the slate. Really happy. One more step. And the last step is a little bit of lacquer. Give him a bit of protection and make him really pop. Next idea I've got are these choppers, pizza cutters. Again, a pizza cutter, little burger slice, smaller cutter, different type of cutter. And I just want to pop my logo on and then dress them on top of the board, in and around the table. And again, something a little different, catch the eye, maybe draw in the passerby. So back into Lightburn again then. I've got my logo loaded and my little bit of text. And the only issue you've got with these is to balance them, to get them level. With this one, it just so happens that two of those little brass coins, which we'll come on to, of course, are the perfect height to keep it level. So I've got my settings as per the material test and the output covered in the first video. So frame it up, hit start, and this should be hopefully pretty darn quick and straightforward. Isn't it just fantastic when it works exactly as you expect it to? So again, for the business cards, I'm using the output that I discovered from the first video. Link will be down below in the description. And I've got two-sided cards, and I've got the sides split into the different layers. So I've got a front and a back. So I'm starting with the front, framed up, hit the button. These are really, really quick to do. And I don't give out an awful lot of business cards. So the few that I'm going to run on this will be more than plenty. Turn off the back layer. Turn on the front layer. Sorry, reverse that, switch it around, run it again. Really pleased with this so far. Got my slate done, got my little choppers and burger lifters, all looking good. Going to add that lovely bit of variety to the table and attract people's eye. But I think these may well attract even more. These are those LED stands with a bit of clear acrylic that you can engrave on, and they have changing LED lights in them, and they just cycle blue, red, green, so on and so on. They look absolutely cracking, just run off a USB slot. But the trick is being able to engrave on clear acrylic. Now, I've watched, as you probably have, hundreds of videos on a plethora of different approaches, but I've found an approach that works every time and is dead simple. Check this out. So the only thing you need to successfully engrave on a piece of clear acrylic is a piece of black paper underneath the acrylic. That's it. Settings, speed 5000, power 7.5%. Yes, that low. Frequency of 50, DPI 350, dot width adjustment enabled, sorry. I've done a little bit of image manipulation just to get that detail through. And hit the button. So initially you're going to think, my God, that looks incredible, but you may well have some paper stuck to the bag. So you just pull the paper off the back as best you can, and there's quite a bit stuck to it, and literally a minute under the tap, and when you've washed it off, you're going to think, that's dreadful, it didn't work at all. But trust me, it did. Because when you plug it into your base, it lights up like a little demon, and the detail on it is superb. If I just pop the paper behind, camera should pick that up a lot better. Now you can see some little sparkly bits, which I really like, but that's where the acrylic's got a little bit too hot. So even at 7.5% power, I could dial that down a wee bit, and maybe even avoid the paper sticking on the back. But the process works superb. And finally for this video, the coins. Now there's two things that I want to achieve with the coins. The first one, the most important one to me, is that I can engrave my logo on a coin, and then I can inset the coin into the front of the larger blocks, cutting boards that I make, butcher's blocks I call them, which are 50mm or 60mm thick. And I want to be able to put that into the front, the side of the board with my logo on it, so it just raises the look that little bit. Now what I've found, and please bear in mind, I am no expert at this yet, what I've found is there are two types of coin. They're both advertised as brass coins. Some of them are pure brass, and you can tell by pure brass, magnet won't pick it up. the cheaper coins can be picked up with a magnet. Now I'll put links to both of these below, where I got these cheaper ones. Excellent price for experimenting with, which you're going to need to do, and to where I bought these. So the logo coin is really simple. I'm just using the settings that I discovered in my previous video, all inside of my tool frame, and then frame it up and hit the button. As you can see there, that is absolutely superb, perfect definition, and the ferrous metals in this cheaper coin allow it to blacken up really well. So on to the depth map. So this is the image that I've chosen from laser-pics.com. Nice simple puppy dog, and as mentioned, lovely dark background, highlights, clear definition, should come out really, really well. My settings, I've got maximum speed, 50% power, 100% frequency, DPI is the same. One thing to point out, the image mode isn't Jarvis for this, it's 3D sliced, and the number of passes, 64. So it does a little bit on each pass, and I've limited it to 64 because I think that's enough for this image, and it reduces the time. Now, one other thing to point out, I've also enabled a cleanup pass, and on my cleanup pass, it's a little bit slower, 20% power and frequency of 20 Hertz. And this is the output. Bear in mind, this is 64 layers. Some people I've seen have even gone down to 256 layers. But 64 layers, it's not come out too bad. I haven't run a final cleaning pass over it, which I should have done, which will get rid of some of this background. But just for reference, I've also run, using exactly the same settings, the same image using the cheaper coin, just so that you can see the difference. And you can hardly make out the puppy dog's face at all. Really, really bad. And the only difference between the two is that's not solid brass and this is. So that's it. That's everything that I can currently think of that I could use the new Fibre Laser for. Some stuff I haven't played with. I haven't played with stone or marble, but to begin with, these were the ideas that I had. The slicers, the burger lifters, the slate, business cards, the logo coin, the depth map coins are no need for them. I can't see any way I can use them in my business. Just wanted to play with one, as I've seen so many people do them online. So I've got to answer the question, is this the perfect laser to add to my working business? No, I've not come across the perfect laser as yet. If I could have a fibre laser and an LED laser in one unit, then I really think that would cover all the bases. So what I really want is a fixed and movable interchangeable head laser combined with the CNC. If anybody could make me one of those, perfect solution for a small worktop. And if you could do it for under £1,000 or $1,000, ideal. I'm your man. Give me a shout. But I can't knock the laser itself. Absolutely superb, incredible bit of kit, amazing flexibility. Well worth checking out. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.